And welcome to Justice Serve TV. Snack time, or is it tea time? Is it both?
It's well, I guess you could say it's a snack, but we're serving the
Snack with
tea.
tea.
This is mango tea. We're gonna serve tea. Maybe I'll have a dirty matcha. Maybe next time we should call it dirty matcha time.
That sounds wrong.
Mm.
There's something wrong
We're
with that.
spilling the
Yeah, something
tea.
wrong with that. What we're going to talk about, though, briefly here is really kind of the tail end, I guess I can call it that, of the horrible Bryan Kohberger case
Oh,
and the four
disgusting,
co-eds that were
disgusting person.
mercifully slaughtered,
Disgusting.
and he's now doing his time. But that doesn't mean there isn't fallout still, right? From what happened, what is happening, and the latest issue has been the parents trying to prevent the state from releasing some of the materials gathered during the course of the investigation, and you can imagine what they are. Well, we don't even have to imagine. We'll go through them, not through them, but a list of them. But photos and videos and body cam. So I thought we'd just go through this motion to talk about what the parents wanted and what they got, because there is a weighing here of interests.
Right,
You have a
right.
public
Public
right, public interest in these materials, just in general. That's kind of the default position. They have to come up with a reason not to release this, and it has to be something that affects their privacy rights. That's the argument. So let me pull this up. Again, this was filed. I think it was filed by one family and then joined by others. So they were all kind of in concert in getting this resolved. So there's my blue Post-it on the top. I think I used this to write down like a laundry list or something. So I covered it with a Post-it there. Sorry.
Oh, that's just so you know, that's the color of my fire glass that I ordered because they sent the wrong.
Is it?
Well, they didn't send it. I ordered the wrong one. I ordered
So is that a teal or
they sent
turquoise?
a turquoise. They sent a blue, and I wanted the aqua turquoise. So funny that you should put that on right now.
Yeah, that just happened to be the Post-it I had laying around. So this
Mm.
is the court's decision granting, in part, plaintiff's complaint for permanent injunction. This is to keep from forever and ever not releasing these materials. That's what they wanted. So I want to just jump right to the language that gets us to the documents. Look at this.
Yeah.
Since July 23rd, let's see if I can go one size bigger on this. That's good. Since July 23rd of 2025, the city has received over, and it should be, I'm the grammar police, more than, you don't use the word over unless you're talking about height, more than 1,150 public records requests for information related to the criminal investigation, including but not limited to crime scene photos, 911 calls, police reports, body cam footage, witness statements, autopsy reports, MPD investigatory records. They had 186 photos taken at the crime scene. Some of them have been blurred with some of the more, graphic
Right.
parts.
We've already seen those.
And so that was kind of the city's position. This is what we've done to protect any sort of impact this might have on the family. Informed counsel, the city would be disclosing the redacted videos, including redacted body cam, videos from MPD officers that depict the crime scene. These are the kinds of things that were being objected to. Okay. So here's the complaint filed August 23rd, 2025, adding the Chapins. Again, not all the parents were involved initially. Plaintiffs seek a permanent injunction restraining the city from releasing images of the interior of victims' residence, images of the victims, whether blurred or not, images of the bedrooms where the victims were murdered, images of the death scenes, murder scenes, including images of pools of blood, blood spatters, and dry blood. Oh, look at, they say blood splatter. I just read it as blood spatter because I know better. Images of the personal property and images of the victims of the homicides found inside the interior and exterior of the residence, including but not limited to containers of alcohol, underwear, ID cards, and other personal items. Images of witnesses, including witnesses hugging each other and sobbing. Video and audio media containing sounds of the witnesses, including sounds of them sobbing, and video and audio media containing statements of witnesses given to law enforcement officials, including statements evidencing their extreme emotion. Now, just on face value, does it sound like a bit much to you?
Yeah, because I don't think they have standing about the witnesses sobbing. Okay.
Standing was an
frankly.
issue that they went through. It was interesting. The court kind of looked at the standing issue as all or nothing, They didn't really seem to pare it out by types of the evidence. I've lost my cursor. Where'd my cursor go? Where are you, cursor?
Yeah, it's so it does seem like it's a little, but you know what? If you want to get what you want to get, sometimes you have to ask for more because we know
Yeah.
the legal system is like a auction or a flea market. I'll give you this, you get this. I'll give you this, you get this.
Yeah,
And
it's a
so,
everything in the world is a negotiation, or as I used to say in the producing biz when I'd be working on something, I called them the producers turds. I know, little nasty frame, but
mm, mm,
you always will throw in there something you don't really care about, so that when they say, or it looks like you're being compromising, okay, we don't need Z. Well, Z was actually something you could care less about anyway. So you
right,
put in there
right,
things that you have a little negotiating room on. There is a presumption, this is the law, the Idaho Public Records Act. There is a presumption that all public records in this state are open for inspection, except as otherwise provided by statute. Okay, so that's what these folks are up against. Specific to this case, law enforcement investigatory records are public records. Investigatory record meaning information with respect to an identifiable person, group of persons, or entities compiled by a public agency pursuant to its statutory authority in the course of investigating a specific act, omission, failure to act, or other conduct over which the public agency has regulatory authority or law enforcement authority. One exception, where production of records would constitute an unwarranted invasion of personal privacy.
right.
And if you might wonder what that definition is, unwarranted invasion of personal privacy means disclosure of information used to identify, locate, or harass a juvenile, a victim of an alleged crime of mass violence or domestic violence, or a victim of physical or sexual abuse, or disclosure where release of information is likely to violate legitimate and substantial privacy interests of the person identified when such interests are weighed against general public information. So that's the weighing this court has to do. And I think they came to the right conclusion in parsing out, this may fit into that box, this one doesn't. Okay. And here's to your point, interesting, in arguing that plaintiffs have no privacy interest to establish standing, the city believes that it struck the appropriate balance in balancing the plaintiff's privacy and the interest of in an informed citizenry. The city's actions in blurring certain portions of the investigatory records prior to disclosure and balancing plaintiffs and the public's interest cut against its standing argument.
Mm.
Okay. All right.
So with that, they're saying the plaintiffs, because we have blurred out a lot of things, they don't have the standing that maybe we could have given them other privacy.
Exactly. So they weren't ruling exactly, but saying, look, that kind of waters down your argument here because they've done these things. So
Right.
as the court continues, there can be no doubt that the photographs, video, audio, and other investigatory records in this case are incredibly disturbing. The records are difficult to digest and
Imagine.
provide a raw view into horrific tragedy that occurred on November 13, 2022, that impacted plaintiffs, a college community, and the world at large. Prior to releasing these records, the city took measure to blur the decedent's bodies to prevent an unwarranted invasion of personal privacy while balancing the public's interest to comply with its statutory obligations. So ultimately,
The things I saw, the city did a great job. I mean,
yeah, I think they were very aware of the importance of not causing further
sure,
harm to
sure.
these folks who have
Yeah,
suffered it
yeah, and horrendous.
unbelievably.
These poor kids. I mean, let's face it, these poor kids, and the kids and I'm calling them kids because to me they're kids, they're children, even though they're
Sure.
maybe some of them are adults. But the families are the ones that remain, and the families are the ones remaining that are in the greatest deal of pain. And the roommates that we saw, the one roommate, they're in pain that is never going to stop, and no one wants to cause them more pain. I mean, we all know that. We all agree, I think, with that premise. The question is,
No doubt.
how do you comply with the law, and also limit any more pain that you could cause these remaining parties who had their family members just brutally slaughtered.
Yeah, yeah. So here's how the court comes down on it. The city has blurred certain portions of the investigatory records, but Additional redactions are necessary to ensure there is no unwarranted invasion. The blurring is simply insufficient, as it still allows the viewer to see the outline and contours of the decedent's bodies and invites rather than dispels any speculation about how, where, or why they were positioned. Releasing these records will have minor effect upon those who continue to be perplexed by the facts or fixated on unfounded conspiracies, where it has and will continue to have profound effect upon the decedent's loved ones. The city may disclose the investigatory records in this matter, but must black out any areas within the images, photographs, video, or other media that depict any portion of the decedents or their bodies and the blood immediately surrounding them. So here's where the court draws the line. Contrary, the court cannot find plaintiff's privacy interests outweigh the public's interest concerning the dissemination of audio, video, or photographs depicting A, the interior of the bedrooms, except as provided above, the exterior or interior, including rooms other than the bedrooms of the residents, personal property and items of the decedents found inside, the interior and exterior of the residence, including but not limited to containers of alcohol, underwear, ID cards, personal items, witnesses, including audio of crying, statements of witnesses given to the law enforcement officials, including statements evidencing their extreme emotions. That stuff, the court decided is more important the public have that and has limited effect on any sort of personal impact to the family members.
Yeah, what none of us want to see, although I'm sure there's people who do want to see it.
Yeah.
They want to see the gruesome bodies. They want to see, and I'm not sure it comes from pure interest as comes from the hatred of Bryan Kohberger so much. What did he do to these kids?
And that whole, everybody's mad because they think trial would have provided a why. Not that I think it ever would have, but that's what people think. And because of the deal that was taken, now there's even less chance they'll ever learn why this was done.
Oh, he's going to talk about it. You know why? Because he won't be able to help himself, okay? Yeah. Over the years. He's going to still want to be in the spotlight. He did this to be in the spotlight. Those pictures, quite frankly, of him smiling with the thumbs up and the shower and all, they're disgustingly repulsive. If I've ever seen the devil alive, that's the devil alive.
Yeah, he's sick. He's sick, and he's got, as I've talked about before, those dead black eyes that I saw.
And you have to wonder how the family feels. I mean, one of the things I've always said, if people hate the families, I always want to know where the person came from to prevent that from happening again. Not necessarily the why he did this, but where he came from. What were the warning signs? Just as we talk about domestic violence in the month of November or October 2025, just as we talked about addiction in September, what are the warning signs? What can we do to prevent this from happening again? And people say, well, I don't care about the family. I care about knowing about the families in that regard.
Yeah. Yep, they are the remaining victims. So the court further clarified why it was allowing the items that I just mentioned, and it says, upon releasing images that include alcohol containers, underwear, ID cards, or other personal items of the defense may appear embarrassing or reveal speculation as to what may or may not have occurred within the residence, it does not impugn the character of the decedents in a way that constitutes an unwarranted invasion of personal privacy. Therefore, the court shall, upon request, and in accordance with statutory obligation, disclose the investigatory records except as to the death scene records noted above or those subject to any other statutory exemption or redaction. So do you agree with the court's decision on this?
Yes, I agree with the court's decision.
You think they split the baby properly?
Yep, I think they absolutely split the baby properly. It's a weighing decision, and I admire the parents for going in. I think that it forces the issue and makes sure the issue is clear. What doesn't become clear, though, is when, if there's witnesses who want to talk about this, they're still allowed. They can't be subject to any kind of restraining order to talk about this. They can't.
Yeah, that would be that'd be a First Amendment issue, among other things.
Yeah, and you may have people, and we don't know. Cell phones are all around. Were cell phone pictures taken? Were they given to the police, but they've been stolen by the people? We simply don't know. In the next few years when we see the documentaries coming out, despite what the judge said, don't mention his name. The documentaries are going to come out, no doubt about that. And interesting, we had asked Catherine Ramsland to be on our show a number of times, and she declined on this. And I understand why, but also another glitch, because since she taught him as I guess it was a graduate student, right? And all. It's not HIPAA, but it's the federal privacy laws dealing with education. She's not allowed to talk about it.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Actually, I kind of like that.
I kind of like that too.
Yeah.
You know?
All right. So the city had begun the process. The court found they hadn't done enough. So any redactions, any blacked out areas are now further expanded, and some stuff is not going to be released at all. So that's the latest. Unfortunately, it's not the end for those who are victims of this Kohberger nightmare, but we wanted to get into that to talk about the process.
That's going to leave us to a future show that we are going to do relating to both Charlie Kirk and Erica Kirk. And here, can you ever forgive? Because there was one family member, one of the victims, who said that she forgave Bryan Kohberger, and I think that's going to be an interesting show that we're going to put together for the future. Can you ever forgive? Can you? Can you forgive?
Yep, and I think there'll be people coming down very strongly on one side or the other on that.
Right.
All right, please like, comment, subscribe. What else do they need to do? What other things?
Join as a member, because we're releasing a bunch of membership things. That does cost money. Subscriptions don't cost any money and puts us into the algorithm. And thank you very, very much. We really appreciate it.
And you might even get a free one from one of the folks who has donated. So okay, thank you, appreciate it. We are Justice Served TV. Hey, try to do the right thing.
On the sky,